everybody, and welcome. Welcome aboard. Today is a special day. As always, Community Connects are indeed a very, very particular occasion. We have had the last update 1 month ago for Chainmonsters, where you could see where exactly the team's mind at, what we have on the roadmap that is more closely attuned to the overall ecosystem vision with the AI integration and many, many other things. Recently, we've had another very exciting development for the Chain Monsters universe, and I obviously have my own opinions about that, but I would rather hand over the mic for those to the core team. Say hello, of course, to Max.
Hi, everyone.
And Lysander.
Hey people, how's it going?
Hopefully good. Lysander pulling in again with this bombastic background. I need to get myself one of those. And Cora's never looked so gorgeous. Team, first and foremost, it's been an incredible month, and I have witnessed for first eyes, I suppose you could say, in this particular context, how hard you've been at work. So, how are you doing? How are you feeling about everything that's been happening within the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I start. Like for us, it's been like an incredible journey. Like in case you missed it, we did launch the Chainmonsters spin-off called Tapmonsters on Telegram. If you are not playing yet, I highly recommend it. I think we're going into much more detail later, but yeah, it's basically the first thing that launched in the Chainmonsters universe since we had to pause development last year before we joined Spielberg. So for us, it's like incredible. And yeah, besides that, I think there are a couple of other changes that we can discuss. But yeah, I don't want to go too far ahead now.
No, of course not. Lysander, what are your feelings on this? Because alongside with Tapmonsters, there's also the new website now that I think embodies your work really, really well in terms of where you want to take the game, what you want everything to look like. But please do share.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't checked it out yet, go to chainmonsters.com. This is the brand new website. Some sections are still under development, but there's going to be more, and you get a really good overview of what the new product, the new Chainmonsters is going to look like. The new look and feel is definitely in the website. Also, we have a small section about Tapmonsters. Tapmonsters was quite a birth, honestly.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a super fun title, and it's really cool to see that we managed to incorporate some of the very old Chainmonsters artworks. Like if you want to see where we started Chainmonsters, and you go inside Tapmonsters, and you keep finding some of the monsters which are from the very, very first iteration of Chainmonsters that we've ever had, which was many, many years ago. It's a nice homage to that state of the game. And I think some people really love some of the designs in there. So yeah, that's where we went with that. But yeah, if you want to see into the future, basically, look at the website. There's a lot of information there regarding the style and the features that we will launch and that we will have in the new Chainmonsters. And I think everyone can be very excited for what's going to come.
Thank you kindly. I do really think that everything that you guys put out so far is nothing short of exciting, for sure. Well, since it's been brought up and it's quite a big thing, Tapmonsters, right? Right now is obviously the Telegram game craze, right? And on the one hand, this is a pretty good and like comparatively lightweight way of introducing new people to the Chainmonsters universe, I think, right? But on the other hand, it capitalizes on the ongoing trend, which is something that's crucial in Web3 when it comes to marketing stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this was also one of the struggles that you guys initially had, because you are game developers at heart. You know how to build amazing worlds. With the Web3 marketing specifics and promotions and whatnot, you obviously could not dedicate a lot of time to this side because you were focusing on creating a great game. So now we have this first initiative live, and I would be very curious, as I think everybody in the audience is, to hear how it's connected to the main game, what the team's goals are with Tapmonsters. How do you see this elaborating or building on top of your previous work? Because there's a lot of lore put into that. A lot of your artwork also is under the style, even though it's slightly different from the overarching Chainmonsters direction. It still seeps through in the details, right? So I'm very curious to hear your guys' stance basically on how this connects to the Chainmonsters universe and how it's going to help the game in the future.
So maybe I can start with something. So we're using Tapmonsters basically to explore one of the major factions that we have in the game. So you as the player with your friends and the people you meet in the beginning are, as most people know who have played the alpha and the early access version, you're the one faction, and then we have the second big faction that is the N Corp, which is the big overarching corporation that is utilizing Chainmonsters to their, to their liking. And we're exploring that faction with the Tapmonsters universe. Actually, with the Tapmonsters game, you become an N Corp agent, and you have to work in the laboratory and actually do some research on monsters, which will also be a big part in the Chainmonsters game, because it's all about finding out what the strength and the weaknesses of each species are, and what they're good for, and what you can do with them. So this is a big part of that, and we also wanted to, have some room to introduce what is actually going on behind the scenes at the N Corporation. So also we have the we have the takeover of the Telegram channel of the Discord, which is really cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
I love that very much. Just to give people the feeling that that's an immersive experience, and that's gonna be, and the Chainmonsters game is gonna be that. And I think we made a first step in that direction with the Tapmonsters. So yeah, we're really happy to have gotten that out there. And also, if you look at the color of the UI, etc., that's all gonna be gonna stick with N Corp. So this is all like themed in the N Corp way, with a bit of a twist that goes, of course, into a more fun and funky direction. Because it's a small, fun game, there's gonna be more. We're still working on some features for Tapmonsters that are gonna come soon, very soon even. And there's gonna be more, which is a little bit weird and wonky, not like serious as the regular game, but the regular game is gonna be more, more grown up and more spectacular than that. But still, we wanted to have the connection.
Of course, and I'm really happy that through Tapmonsters, people cannot only just get familiar with the overarching universe, but really dive deeper into one of its core aspects, so to say, because in Chainmonsters, and Corp is going to be an antagonist of sorts, right? And this is where you get to play the bad guy, which I think is always an exciting aspect of things, to be fair. Okay, thank you so very much, Lysander. Max, what would be your input on this? Because there are some kind of very direct ties between Tapmonsters and Chainmonsters through the in-game content, right, that will be kind of provided to Tapmonsters players in the main game. And also, of course, the token, which is also maybe something that we can touch upon. But how, in your perspective, is Tapmonsters bolstering the main game ahead of its launch?
Well, I mean, for us, you know, it was also like an opportunity with Tapmonsters to basically introduce everyone, you know, not only our existing community, because they are already aware of Chainmonsters and the Chainmonsters universe, but also especially like the broader Spielworks ecosystem
Yeah.
from Wombat, Atomic Up, but also because, you know, since 2023, you know, a lot more people have joined crypto. Many people might have never heard about Chainmonsters, and for us, it's like the first step in introducing those people specifically to both the actual lore and the universe of Chainmonsters, as well as trying to use it as an experiment, basically, to like show what's possible as well. You know, because Telegram as like a platform is very early, so most games they're like fairly limited in like you tap and then you click and you earn something. But in here we wanted to really experiment with providing like a standalone experience that could live alongside Chainmonsters. So when you actually you know, when you play Tapmonsters with all the updates we're going to release, and then you enter Chainmonsters, the MMO, later on, we're trying to connect them really tightly together in certain ways, so that players from Tapmonsters will see some resemblance, maybe some bonuses in Chainmonsters as well. So, and I mean, since you already spoke about it, the official Chainmonsters token is more or less has been announced with Tapmonsters already. So Tapmonsters is going to be the very first time that very first opportunity for you to earn the monster token, which is going to be used as a premium currency kind of deal in Chainmonsters MMO. So for us, it's also a way to say, hey, play Tapmonsters now, check it out. Especially if you you know, if you want to learn more about the game and also be participating in the play drop, basically, which we are going to launch with Tapmonsters. There are many different reasons to play it, basically.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, for one, of course, it's the kind of future incentive to set yourself up for Chainmonsters, right? And all the content that you'll be able to purchase there with the monster token and whatnot. But also, just because it is, I would wager it really does feel like it's an experience of its own rather than a dumb tapper. So far, I mean, I know that Max and Lysander are probably not going to tell that because they are very modest creators and whatnot. But so far, everyone from kind of like partner side, everybody who we're working with effectively, Spielworks in a broader sense, when we showed the game, everybody loved it. Everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of them are asking if they can get a white label on that thing. It's crazy, really, how much quality you guys were able to deliver for this. I mean, we're getting some comments in the chat as well from, for example, Alex Xavier says that I love the Tapmonsters feels like an actual game versus most of the previous Tap games, and I think it's a real testament to your work. So congratulations to the both of you, of course, on pushing this out. It's really commendable, and it's good to see, of course, that it will have a continuation in Chainmonsters with the token, naturally, the in-game content, and a lot of those things. I would like to, with your permission, unless there is something either of you wants to add about Tapmonsters, I would like to touch upon the subject of in-game content, because we do have a lot of people in the community who have been early backers, for instance, and who are looking forward to seeing the lands, for instance, that were sort of scheduled / on the roadmap for the initial iteration of the game, if they can have their legacy NFTs in there and whatnot. What would you say? And I know that we already have this on the new website roadmap, right? So I pinned the link in the chat on Twitch. Do check this out if you are one of these people. My question is, I guess, from all the things that we published for the roadmap so far, right? What would you say are your kind of biggest priorities and aspirations in terms of honoring the legacy players, the OGs, so to say.
Yep. Yeah. So basically, one of our main goals, and this might have not been that much clear in the beginning when we restarted again, is of course to honor the existing stakeholders, and this is in regards to anything really, and most especially the NFTs, because as a Chainmonsters never had like a token before, so there's actually something that's now going to be added. In a not a stupid way, but a smart way, I have to say. But the NFTs itself were always like the value holder of the Chainmonsters game project,
Yep.
and we were very grateful for the fundraising we were able to do through the community, of course. So as a priority is of course to reinstate the existing NFTs for all NFT holders. And I know that people are going to ask a follow-up question, because some of our existing members of the community, they noticed us. A couple of years ago, we migrated from one blockchain to the other, and in that sense, we obviously also migrated NFTs over so that people were able to claim them. And just to answer a follow-up question, basically, similar to that day before, we're going to honor all the existing NFTs for sure. But it might be that, similar to the last time, some of the NFTs, some specific NFTs might get enhanced actually through the migration process, because our game design, of course, and all the aspects of the world, they are like transforming in the current design and development process. So like last time, what we did, we migrated the land basically to Immutable X basically, and in that sense we added more value, more utility to it, and now with a much more mature design and development state, I would say, they are also going to be enhanced in that process as well. So you not only keep all your existing NFTs, some of them, some specific ones, which we're probably going to reveal closer to the actual launch date, they're going to be enhanced with more utility and more connection between all of them. Because in the past, some of the NFTs were a little bit too standalone, and a little bit hard to understand if you didn't participate in Kickstarter, for example, or all the stuff that happened like 4, 5, 6 years ago, basically. So now we're trying to put like a clear line in like all of our communication and design when it comes to the NFTs and the future continuous utility in game.
All right, thank you very much. Well, this is something I expect that we're going to see in the wiki very, very soon. It's also something that's the team is trying to deliver. I do have one thing in mind regarding the legacy versus new sort of a thing. Something that I suppose Lysander is most qualified to answer here, because with the new website, we also had a few new Chainmonsters artwork exposed, released, however you want to call it, right? And I saw that in some ways it sort of split the community in half. So some of the people are saying that this is absolutely mind-blowingly amazing. They never liked the old style anyway. This is tremendous. And the other are like, I am terrified of those. Please bring back the cutesies. So is there no more room for cuteness in Chainmonsters, Lysander?
There is. There actually is. I have some designs of cute monsters. I made a redesign of the chip leaf, for example. All of the existing monsters that we already released will get an upgrade to the new style, of course. Not all of them might stay cute, but for example, some basic ones, Ducko, Chip Leaf, they need to stay cute because they were in the first place. Wormy needs to stay kind of wiggly and funny, and that's definitely going to still be there. The cute ones just didn't make it to the website. But there will also be big changes to the way combat is working in Chainmonsters. So we went for a more mature style for the monsters, also a bit more aggressive style for the monsters, because we're aiming for something that does not look like a children's game at all, or a game aimed at young people. We're making them actual monsters. Like, I originally come from the horror game genre.
Okay, that explains things then.
which is my homestead basically, and well, this is not going to be horror or anywhere close. I really enjoy creatures that are fantastical, but also have some certain aggressiveness to them. Not all of them are going to be like that. We still have tame, nice, funny creatures, but some of them have to be actual monsters.
Yeah. No, that's for real. And my take on that was when I saw those comments is that, well, if we are aiming to create this kind of a very vast but also very dynamic world that feels alive, it has to be diverse. So there's got to be, the actual monstrosities, not just the cute little animals. Because otherwise, that would be too close to the beaten track, I suppose. I mean,
yeah, and even if you look at newer monster taming games, they already have really big. Even Pokemon has really big, really bad monsters, right? So they're just the style just allows for more roundness and more cuteness, but still they have like dragons and they have.
Oh yeah, Gyarados is not cute, and this is one of the first like OGs. I would say.
Yeah, and even now the newer ones, all the very legendary creatures that they have in Pokemon and other, in other games, they're not cute, and we're not going to go the route of teapots and keychains because that that just wouldn't fit the universe. But creatures, and also because sometimes I saw some comments on the mechanical parts that some of the creatures had. We're just, because we're in a world that is sort of sci-fi, some of the creatures have been altered by with mechanical parts, and they will have that, and other creatures will just be in their natural state and will have no alterations, and it might be that just the just some certain creatures can be encountered. We're not, this is very early in the design stage, but we definitely want to have that in the game because it makes for a really interesting twist, which no monster tamer has had so far. So we're gonna, I heard comments that it looks a bit like Digimon. And I don't think we're gonna make them into guns, and that's not gonna happen.
No. But yeah, no, I'm curious to see then how that has come, which I'm assuming we're also going to see from the wiki. Was it the N-Corp experimentation or some sort of a fusion event like in Mass Effect 3? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, thank you so very much. That was a lot of fun, and we already have a dedicated fan artist. So one of our mods, Prince Paradox, already putting himself to work on this.
Please do. Okay, please put that in the Discord.
Of course, I'm sure that you're going to, produce something absolutely magnificent, Prince Paradox.
I would really love to have a fan art section on the website someday, and just display.
True.
Really
true, cool. Very true. We have
I'm
another.
Not sure we have a meme section because some of the memes are questionable.
I mean, yes. Let's contain this within Discord for now, but maybe we can have a meme hall of fame a few years down the line. But yeah, another great suggestion from Kevin Kev is to have physical gacha Chainmon machines everywhere. Someday, Kevin Kev, we'll get you there. Okay, thank you so very much. My personally final question, because I know that this has been in the works and we've been touching upon this subject, right, is the wiki, of course, and the information it contains on the monster token. I'm not going to pry for details, right, but from your perspective, how ready it is, where we are with disclosing it completely. Are we going to be putting out bits by bits for the community to see roughly where it's all heading, what sort of red thread in this storyline is, how the Web3 elements are going to work in the game, etc., etc.?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think we spent like an entire month just focused on the wiki or white paper, and the reason is basically that, I mean, technically Chainmonsters didn't have a white paper since the initial prototype in 2017, so it was like time for something that really is like a one-stop shop for everyone to get all of the information from. And at the same time, we of course use the time to redefine the game design part, to come up with new exciting mechanics. There are a couple of things that I feel like we are now building that no other monster tamer in the monster taming genre has done before. And we're going to utilize AI and machine learning quite a lot in that, but I think that's like a topic where we could just fill like entire stream with, basically. And I hope we're going to do that at some point. But yeah, no, it's I believe I think, and of course we'll check, but I think we are going to release a couple of bits and pieces, maybe some sections over time, because it's just a lot, right? Anyone who has played the Chainmonsters game before, especially in like the early access stage, back in last year, they understand and realize that it's just so complex. And of course, while we try to focus on the most important topics, and we're not going to, annoy with details, even though some people might be really interested in spreadsheets and stuff, as I saw on the Discord.
Yeah,
it's still a little bit focused, but in the sense, if you make like an actual MMO game, with multiplayer, with economies that are, not even Web3. Web3 is on top of a complexity layer, of course. It gets overwhelming a lot. So yeah, we'll be sharing information and hopefully the entire wiki white paper soon as well. And yeah, I mean, there will be so many questions and hopefully a lot of happy people when they read all the details, and can't wait, basically.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that your hard work is going to make a lot of people happy. Hell, I'm personally generally Pokemon, Digimon, anything that's a monster tamer, that just passed me by like this during my time, right? But I am looking forward to playing Chainmonsters for sure. I propose we move on to the questions, because we have already piled up a few. And you good people watching the stream, please don't hesitate to ask your questions. I will set them aside, and we will, of course, try to cover as many of them as we can. Let's start with Buzz King. Semi-question, I suppose, piece of feedback for Tapmonsters itself. If we can turn off the haptic feedback when we tap.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I've we've read in the Discord when in the dedicated feedback section a little bit, and it definitely makes sense to have like a setting for you to turn it off, because it's all about accessibility, and it can get annoying or stressful on your fingers when you tap. So that's something that we'll look into for sure.
All right, thank you very much. People are really, Jesus Christ, going to town with the questions. I will get to everything, don't worry. We have a question about lands. So from one of the Chainmonsters OGs, just to clarify, it's a small detail. Maybe you know already, maybe it hasn't been decided yet. Will the maximum amount of land be the same as previously planned? So for the custom lands that are now in development?
This is something that we can't share yet. We haven't made a final decision on that one yet. There were I need to check how many there are. I think between 1,000 and 3,000 islands. This is part of the new land strategy. So what you learned before is going to be a more central part of the entire game. Therefore, the land NFTs are supposed to feel even more rare than they were before.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't distribute all of them to the community yet. So we'll trying to figure out How we do that, maybe we want to put some of them in for giveaways, for example. It will be a journey. So I can't fully answer that yet, but land is still part of the core gameplay experience in the new design.
All right. Thank you very much, Max. Lisandra, there is a question specifically for you. It's a bit silly, but I mean, we're supposed to be having a little bit of entertainment here on those streams, I guess. Prince Paradox is asking, Lisandra, are you Team Daco? If not, why? Max already told us that Daco is the best mon.
I don't want to fuel the war here, but I'm not Team Daco.
No? Aww.
I'm sorry, guys. I love Daco. He's really cute. But, my team is actually, if any of you have encountered the Dragon Worm inside the Tapmonsters, that's my team. That's my brain
That's you.
cells.
All right. All right.
The first time I saw him, I thought it was the worm with the little party hat.
Oh, that's just precious. That's adorable. Okay. Next question addressed to the both of you, because I'm assuming, even though you're clearly responsible for different directions within the game, you ought to have had thoughts on this, both of you. Cody Gaines, also one of the Chainmonsters OG, so shout out for coming over. Basically, earning tokens based on leaderboards may not be a sufficient concept, right? Especially when the newcomers will have to catch up to the old ones and do a lot of climbing. So how do you plan to address this? I'm assuming that this is about the monster airdrop that's going to be based on the Tapmonsters leaderboard.
Yeah, I would assume so. So basically, one thing to just make very clear, the one leaderboard we have in the game right now is not going to be the only factor in basically determining the monster token distribution. Besides, there will be multiple leaderboards soon as well with the upcoming features that we might that we touched base yesterday a little bit, but in the future as well. So basically, the general strategy is that we are trying to make this process democratic, and of course the Tapmonsters game is not the only opportunity for anyone to get like an early share on the monster token itself. When we are more ready with the Chainmonsters MMO, there will also be playtests, there will also be play drops, and many other different opportunities to get your hand on the token itself. So in general, more leaderboards, game modes that are not exclusively in Tapmonsters, game modes that are not exclusively focused on large influencers or people with a large network in Telegram, because yes, obviously at the moment they have a bonus. We have some actual let's put it competitive play mechanics coming up in Tapmonsters. And
oh yes,
and with those you will all be able to get like a fair share, and also most people that are going to be involved. So
there you have it. Lysander, are we gonna host fan art contests for monster token airdrops?
I want that. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's up to also you, Olga, for the community team.
Oh, I'm down for any sort of first of all community input in anything that creates interaction with the community, but also anything that creates that expands on the Chainmonsters universe, because I would love to have, for instance, community designs for some of the Chainmonsters that are not maybe necessarily in place yet, right? So
we can give them all the months we have so far and say, hey, what do you want to see? What can you come up with? Or you can, if you can't draw, just put a hat on them or anything.
Or that, yes. Or I don't know, toss them into that infamous blender that a lot of people were using for Pokemon specifically, and there we go. Or, well, not sure how to do merger, fuser, like this odd little thing. But it's actually pretty curious that you touched upon the competitive mechanics, Max, because I am assuming that the next question is exactly about that. Nick, not Nick, is asking, what plans do you have for clan activities?
Yep. So I assume that a couple people probably watched the Tavern stream yesterday, where I had like a
Probably.
supposedly short appearance until we took over the entire stream, basically. I did tease a couple of things. So clans or teams is going to come to Tapmonsters. And just to give you a little bit of some upcoming details, even though the feature is not, it's not public yet, it's not up in the app yet, but soon.
Yeah.
It's basically going to allow you to join together with your friends, pretty much, or your connections that you made along the way in the Discord, for example. And you're going to work together to certain goals. So basically, there will be some clan-specific activities that you will be able to do in order to benefit the entire clan. So joining together, and it's not really about, hey, the top 100 players, let's say in the current leaderboard, are joining together to be impossible to beat. No, this is actually about giving everyone, even the ones who want to, join like a smaller clan, for example, to be in a position where they can have more fun, more earning potential, and basically ultimately more fun basically in the game.
So there you have it. As Max stated, that leaderboard is just the beginning. As pretty much everything that you see in there, because judging by all of the grayed out tabs and areas, you can expect a lot more to come to the game to make it feel even more like a standalone experience. Lysander, I would like to get your input on that as the design mastermind behind Tapmonsters as well, how it looks and how it feels. For instance, how do you feel about a daily indicator of how many monsters, chain mons, have been found throughout that cycle?
Yeah, absolutely. We're working on some UI and UX improvements because we know there are still some areas we need to work on. We're also working on, making it more special to actually get a monster. The tapping is not on point yet. We're working on all of these areas, and these things are going to come very, very soon. And if you want any specific info, please drop your, drop that in the Discord. We're listening. So if you say, okay, this is not clear, I don't understand something, or I would like to have, I would like to see how many monsters I actually caught in a specific time frame. We will try to make everything possible there, because it's all about that, right? It's about people knowing what they're doing and people being comfortable with that, and people also being rewarded for playing the game. And this is the minimum that we can do.
Fair enough. Thank you so very much for giving your input on this. We're getting quite some few things, and maybe this is also something, or maybe this is a small opportunity for us to brainstorm, because Funkin Crypto is asking that nobody is using his referral link. What can he do besides, of course, joining a clan in the future to climb the ranks?
Nobody's using my
Funkin Crypto, you gotta team up with Lysander. Together, you're gonna be unstoppable.
Someone in yesterday's stream asked me to link to the game, so I obviously used my referral link for that.
Obviously, as one does.
Yeah. But yes, no. So yes, we understand, especially in certain countries where Telegram might not be as popular as in others, as like a platform or network in general. That this is going to restrict a couple of people at the moment. So we are aware of that, and again, with clan features and similar, we're looking to additional ways to unlock some of the, let's say, gated content behind some of those requirements.
Well, there you go. All right, we've got Bodo and Bolens really going hardcore with the questions. So let's see it. We've seen a significant movement in the market, they say, with a lot of traffic towards games that incorporate a minimal Web3 layer. So that includes, of course, the Telegram tab games, even the father of all of those, Hamster Combat, they do include NFTs as that. So is there a plan to include those more in the gameplay as well? I know that we have the NFTs tab that is grayed out for now, but what effectively are the plans regarding this?
So in general, what we've been always trying to do is we were not a fan of like adding additional layers or functionality without like a good reason. So if something is not benefiting the actual gameplay, then there wasn't a point to it. So that was pretty much our approach in Chainmonsters all along. So and yes, the current NFT market itself is of course not that great. One thing that I was like keep reminding people when we were working on the wiki is basically, well, when Chainmonsters started in the early days, 2017, there was this vision of basically, well, player ownership and the NFTs becoming this like missing link, because what's the difference between the Steam market and NFTs? Well, or on Atomic Hub, the marketplace, everything is open, and this has been used a little bit. Hasn't been used enough, in my opinion, in the past. Like games actually didn't use all of the opportunities that this whole concept brought to the table, and with our all new approach and design, it's going to be much more important, while still remaining a feature that players can choose to go into, compared to games that force you to use NFTs. So in our case, for Chainmonsters, in case you are not aware, it doesn't matter if a Chainmo you captured in game is an NFT or not. Sure, there are some in-game benefits where you will be able to understand your Chainmon better, their nature, maybe some hidden stats that are not visible before. But in general, you can mix and match anything, and if you are, and through the gameplay, if you are ready to join the Web3 space through Wombat, for example, or Atomic Hub, then we are making it as easy as possible for you. But first, you need to get a good understanding of how everything works together, of course. So it's an optional step, and and for Tapmonsters, for that reason, we have not decided, not planned a kind of like NFT approach yet. We will see the closer we get to the actual Chainmonsters launch, how the Tapmonsters game is evolving, of course, because as everyone here is probably aware of, crypto moves quite rapidly.
Yes.
The market sentiment
By
is changing,
an hour.
and if we determine that we have a good functionality for NFTs in Tapmonsters and the Tapmonsters NFTs potentially in Chainmonsters, then we're going to address it even better if the market sentiment is in a better state in that case. But for now, there are no plans in that regard. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Lysander, this is also something that's actually been on my mind as well, because we've seen the 2D, of course, artwork, which is amazing. I will never stop saying that. But is that something that will inform effectively the 3D world in Chainmonsters, as Cruxy Crooks is asking? So are we going to see like some 3D cell shaded stuff, more or less, like in, I don't know?
Yes, absolutely. This is what we're aiming for right now. We're figuring out the best way to transport more or less the exact style of the 2D environments and monsters onto the 3D, which is a tough endeavor. There are a couple of games that have done that so far. It's not exactly Wind Waker. I've never been, I've never been a big fan of mixing sort of hand-painted stylized environments with very 2D cel-shaded characters. I want everything to be cel-shaded. But this is going to be very tough because it's hard to do. We need to figure out how to do certain things. For example, if we want all of those black little outlines on every mountain, on every rock, this is a lot of experimentation, and but I believe we will get there. And I would really like to, because Mobius was mentioned, that is one of the big influences, of course, and I would really like to have that that identification with that early 70s, 80s French comic style. It would be really nice to have that. But in a sci-fi setting, that is weird, quirky. It's a different planet, so we're gonna have weird plants and strange creatures. And as you can see in my background image, there's gonna be more than one planet in the sky, and funny things happening with the environment. So but we're still very, very early in figuring that out. But that would be the best case scenario, yes.
All right, thank you very much. I personally love this stuff. I know that this is not what we are going for with Chainmonsters, not at all. But I really loved just how much cell shading made everything like pop in Borderlands and feel a little bit over the top. So I definitely see the love for this kind of art direction, what it can make for the feel of the game, so to speak. So I'm fully on board. I'm fully sold, and looking forward to seeing that in the game, effectively. All right, thank you so very much. I will get, with your permission, to follow up on the clans question, because I see a few people asking that about if there is going to be a cap, so max amount of people per clan. Pun not intended, Max, but
Yep.
you can only be one.
Yeah, no, for sure. So the clans will have a limit. The exact limit, I'm not so sure yet about. I have some numbers in mind, but I need to balance them out, of course, with everything else. So there will be limited spots, but for most players, there should be sufficient spots to get like a big community going. So. Exactly. And maybe even some competition between the different clans.
I mean, that would be dope. I would like, if we're talking about this whole corporate context. You know how there are events sometimes, like competitions between departments and whatnot. All this sort of thing. I can totally see that happening in Tapmonsters with clans for sure. Yeah, there's already the Daco clan. I see that people are basically primed and aiming at dominating those leaderboards before they're out. But I do have more questions about, for instance, whether we're going to have unlocks for more member spots. I feel like people are getting really, really excited about multiplayer effectively in Tapmonsters.
Yes, so basically the clan feature is going to work the other way around. So you're not going to be limited. I mean, of course, with the max capacity that you're going to have for a clan itself, but you're not going to unlock more member slots. So from day one of the clan feature launching, you will be able to fill all of the slots. But it's basically about reaching goals together as a community, right? And basically encouraging your friends to participate and play and work together to reach those goals.
All right. Well, as we are, because at least the release window for Chainmonsters for the main game has been published, right? We're hoping to see it sooner than later, right? But it is going to happen in Q4 with the Gen 1 version. So with that said, I've got a few folks asking about more of the main game related questions, so to speak. So are we going to have all clients released simultaneously? Is that something you foresee happening?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, this has been like our goal and milestone all along. We always had like iOS, Android, and PC accessible at the same time. Of course, when we talk about platforms, I think we spoke about it a little bit in like an earlier stream. It's hopefully going to come to consoles in the future as well. However, when we talk about the most imminent, pretty much game versions of the Chainmonsters MMO, where we still need your input, we want your feedback as well. We want to test it. It's going to be limited to those platforms, which should still cover most of the bases, I would say.
Yeah, I also agree. It would be really, really good to have the simultaneous launch, but we'll also see about that if all of the platforms cooperate, so to speak. But we'll do our best, of course, to make it happen. Um, but another question from Carnage. Are we going to get some sort of a better way of utilizing quote unquote chain mons that you may not necessarily need? Maybe get some basic material in exchange for that. Max, Lisander, what are your thoughts on this? Have you considered this mechanic?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the early access version, there you were able to capture like an endless amount of chain mons, but you of course spent resources on the replicator devices to capture them in the first place. But you didn't really have a way to discard them properly, and we don't want to think about it as discarding. We just want to, and we don't want to refer to it as recycling, because you're obviously not shredding your chain mons.
Go, Lucky, go! You're free.
Losing.
But, yeah, and you, well, I mean, with the new design and the more, let's put it this way, like a little bit more mature approach, we are looking into a couple of different options. But yes, there will be some way to discard your happy creatures if you really want to, and gain some materials out of it again.
Well, there you have it. Although it's beyond me, why do you want to pull such a backstabbing move, Carnage? That's just not cool.
How are you going to decide who you're going to discard? You know, if you have 300 Dakos, which one are you going to sacrifice?
Yeah, that's also true. It's when you put it like that, because this is such a common mechanic in a lot of free-to-play games, right? You get a duplicate, or you just put it on the altar of sorts, whatever, get some stuff back. But then with chain mons, they are all they're living creatures. How can he do that?
Just
of course,
on your use your land to build a zoo, and then have like
exactly
a Jurassic Park for chain monsters.
Yes, that's the line of thinking. But people are already getting very creative in the chat, because we have Chainmon's Incinerator confirmed. I need a Daco glue factory. Okay, Carnage, we heard you. Good.
Well, I guess I'm starting to wonder where the food in Chainmonsters comes from. But
we're going down the dark rabbit hole here. Okay.
Okay. Duck roast is on the table, I would say.
Daco roast, yeah, for sure. Sorry, Team Daco, we're not doing this on purpose. It's just the joke that's writing itself. But okay, before we get more, I would say, disturbing things in the chat, I would like to wrap up with one final question about Tapmonsters, and maybe we can also expand a little bit on what we have in store for upgrades, for instance. And that's a question, of course, to the both of you. But first and foremost, is the rare species locator the only item with sort of extra functionality? It's, from my understanding, a gate or a blocker, effectively, for a major progression in Tapmonsters right now.
Yep. So the rare species locator is its purpose is to, as it says, to easier find some extremely rare chain mons, especially the chroma variants. This is, in the current game version, the only actual upgrade that affects such a thing. However, and that's something you'll see when we push out the next upgrades, is more interaction and more connection between like battle mechanics between squads and the Chainmon collection. Because at the moment it's fairly simple, but we want to of course move it into something more complex. The upgrade screen itself is supposed to feel more like a tech tree, or like a skill or tech tree or research tree, basically, with a more intuitive layout where you see which upgrade is of course going to affect the others, and so that's going to be a huge update for us.
All right, well, looking forward to that. With that said, we have perhaps one final question that is important to cover. So, currently in Tapmonsters, how long do you think we're going to have this season, quote unquote? Is it going to go all the way until the monster airdrop? Are we planning to do some sort of in between, let's say, performance reviews by the end corp or anything like that?
So in general, depending on how much you enjoy Tapmonsters, and again, please tell us regularly in Discord, for example, if you like a new update or if you don't like it, and then we can see. It could actually become like a full scale side experience, basically, that would exist besides Chainmonsters. And with the MMO, which is of course playing in like a huge 3D open world, you can where NCorp is one of the big two factions in the game. We are thinking about integrating both games a little bit tighter together. So, for example, in Tapmonsters, where you control your lab and you build it and upgrade it, maybe you find your own lab in the like your very own lab that you build now, basically inside the 3D world, and you can see and how it feels
on your island.
to stand inside it and interact with it. So, yeah, that would be pretty cool. So,
of course, but for now, as it stands, what's kind of the perception of the timeline? Is the current assumption that Tapmonsters is going to run until the airdrop? That will be adjusted, of course, depending on community's feedback, or what's the line of thinking for now? Put it this way.
So with the upcoming features, including the battles, for example, it definitely makes sense to have like a more seasonal model to the leaderboards and to the overall progression. What we don't want to do is like reset your earn per hour or something. This is something that's basically designed to always go up, and it should never go back to zero, basically.
Yeah.
But the other
Number
upcoming
go up.
features, this is where seasons might come into play, but more on that fairly soon.
Well, there you have it. Again, a lot of things depend on what you guys think about Tapmonsters and generally where the whole universe is moving to, right? If you like certain mechanics, if not, of course, in certain instances, as Max said, it's very, very clear that they would benefit from seasonal setup, right? And from continuous inclusion of that into the Chainmonsters main game. For now, it's I would say an experimental side experience that we definitely see has potential, but also something that we ourselves got a lot to discover about in the coming weeks that it's going to be live. All right. I thank you so very much, everybody in the chat, and Max and Lysander, of course, for coming over for this Community Connect round. As always, we'll see you in 4 weeks with hopefully a lot of new updates about Tapmonsters, about, of course, the main game, as we will be nearing the end of this quarter. And look out for bits and pieces from that elusive wiki we keep hearing so much about.
Yep.
Lysander, Max.
Yep. Sorry, and I just read the chat. So in case you didn't yet, go to chainmonsters.com, the all new redesigned website, to learn more about the actual ecosystem and some of
it's pinned in the chat.
Yeah. Yes, that will be great.
Yes. Also, looking forward to your feedback on that. It is, as Lysander pointed out, an evolving product as well, which I think embraces the spirit of Chainmonsters very well, the evolution concept. But yeah, Max, Lysander, thank you once again. I will let you go. I know that you still have a few things on your list for today. And I, in the meantime, will pick up our victim for today, because as Prince Paradox is saying, we're raiding. That's right. Let's see first if there's anybody whom we're following on air right now. Otherwise, yours truly is very, very open to suggestions. We've got NFT Dealer. We've got Captain Degen with a very weird stream name. Somebody's playing Illuvium. Do you guys want to watch Illuvium? All right. Let's give our boy NFT Dealer a bit of a boost. They are on with Terraformers right now, and the giveaway, Twitchy Tides, all of the exciting things. I thank all of you in the community who stayed with us throughout the stream. Again, we'll be back with that in 4 weeks, and enjoy the rest of your week with plenty of more streams ahead with myself and, of course, our community head, Matt. Stay playing and slaying, everyone, and tap, tap, tap away. Cheers.